right. Buenos días. Buenos días, mi amigos. ¿Qué pasa, güey? ¿Qué pasa, güey? How we doing? Welcome. Welcome back. New week, baby. Let's get after it. Bonjour. What's up, Margin? Byron? Brian? Carlitos? CJ, what's up? Amsterdam, huh? Yeah, I mean, this might be the last time I ever see you guys. If all the conspiracy theorists are right, who knows? Good morning. Happy, I guess, whatever this eclipse is all about. I think Florida, it says 3 o'clock. Florida. What time? What time will it be in Florida? Peaking at 3:03 p.m. 3:03 p.m. End of the world. Everyone's buying Bitcoin because if the world ends, then at least they'll have cryptocurrency. Yeah, Bitcoin is fine. 73K, huh? Coinbase up big this morning. Bitcoin, Ethereum looking good. Nice pop on those two. All right. I don't know. Where should we go? Maybe Mars? Boeing, yeah. Another plane falling to pieces on Boeing this weekend. So that thing's getting hurt a little bit this morning. Yeah, that's about it. All right, guys. So new week, new opportunities. Learned a lot last week. I hope you guys learned some stuff last week as well. Sort of what the market has been doing. The difficult action, the back and forth, the sort of sideways channel that we continue to trade in here on the NASDAQ. So we're going to have to stay patient again, right? The problem with this week is, unfortunately, you really can't get that excited about this week, too excited about this week, because you are approaching some big economic data. You are approaching CPI on Wednesday, PPI on Thursday. You have FOMC minutes Wednesday as well. So today and tomorrow, I think you got to have that same type of thought process as last week. You got to play protective. You got to stay cautious. I don't think today is going to be anything that wild. Anyone that puts that many laughing faces in a comment is possibly the most immature person in the world. So, yeah, I mean, today, a little bit difficult. The market went up to the exact level we talked about, yes, and rejected that exact level. So, yeah, you're correct. The market went up to that level we talked about, shutting down the live stream, and that's exactly where it rejected off of. So that level was definitely valid. Interesting morning with all of that economic data approaching. What do we typically see before? What do we typically see before CPI? We typically see some sort of sideways, sort of low volume action. So that's what I'm a little concerned of today. We have that CPI Wednesday. We have that FOMC minutes Wednesday. And we have PPI on Thursday. So Monday and Tuesday are 2 days leading up to those major economic events, and you guys know what can happen during that period, okay? All right, so let's get started. Press that like button if you guys could. Press that like button, subscribe to the channel. Here we go. So first things first, let's bring up the economic calendar. That is something to be paying attention to. You can see today, nothing on the calendar today. Tomorrow, nothing really too much there either. right? So really nothing today and tomorrow. But then you get into the meat and potatoes here on Wednesday, right? You got CPI on Wednesday. You got the 10-year bond auction on Wednesday. And you have the FOMC minutes on Wednesday as well. So a lot of stuff there, right? Is the market really going to want to make a major move before that event, before all those events? Probably not, right? The market's probably going to want to stay pretty balanced, pretty sideways, not much conviction to either side. And that, you guys know, is some difficult trading when the market acts that way. So there should be no surprise if we get that, right? That's not a surprise. If we see the markets remain sideways, remain balanced into Wednesday, it's not a surprise, right? It's unfortunate for trading, but that's what we have to do as traders, is protect ourselves. Understand when the market could be not as lucrative as other times. CPI on Wednesday, 8:30. That's going to be a big pre-market event. That'll probably be the spark of the week. So we'll see what happens there. 10-year bond auction, something to be watching. That's a big bond auction, along with the 30-year bond auction as well on Thursday. That's another major bond auction there. And we have the FOMC minutes, and we'll see if there's any changes in the sort of commentary from the FOMC. That is not, remember, this is not Jerome Powell press conference. This is just a press release from their last meeting, okay? Thursday, CPI, unemployment claims, our normal unemployment claims on Thursday, 30-year bond auction, and then Friday, consumer sentiment. So if you want to stay asleep, today and tomorrow, you're probably going to be in the best case scenario, to be quite honest. If you want to stay asleep today and tomorrow, and you want to wake up on Wednesday and see what the market does on this action and starts to maybe move around, Thursday, Friday, whatever way it is, this is where the moves will probably happen. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday on the market. I would assume this is sleepy time for the market. So that's this week. That's sort of how the calendar reads. But let's go into the levels. All right. Let's start with the NASDAQ, as we always do. And there is some, I'm going to delete these for now. I'm going to do an analysis like I did for the group yesterday. I'm going to put a little bit of a expedited version of it. Here's the NASDAQ, okay? And you have two major levels on the NASDAQ. You have the major highs at 18,625, and you have the major lows at 18,000, right? You have two major levels that have been trading, that we've been trading between since, let's call it, we can even call it January 24th. We could call it January 24th, or we could call it, let's call it like February or March 1st, right? Depends on what you sort of read here. But overall, if I look at this, right, this has been what we've traded between for almost the entire year. And so right now, this is 18,000, right? And this right here is 18,625. I told the group yesterday that anywhere in here is what I would call danger zone. This is welcome to the danger zone, for me at least, because you can see how the market has traded between this zone right here. It's been very, very back and forth, right? A couple days down, couple days up, down, down, up, right? Just sort of every day is a different day. Every day needs to be taken as a new day, different opportunity within this channel. You can see even last week, right? Some very crazy volatility outside or in this channel. Now, the best trades last week were where? Right? The best trades were supply high rejections and demand low holds. Right? Those were the best two trades. Where are we sitting right now this morning, which is possibly one of the least favorable places to be sitting this morning, and that is right in the center of this larger channel, right in the center of the major demand lows and the major rejection supply highs. So I don't love that. I'll be honest with you guys. I don't love where the NASDAQ's sitting right now to really feel that confident, right? You could either see this today or you could see this today. Which one are you going to see? I can't really give you much insight there. If we were sitting here, we could say, all right, we have risk reward to the downside. If we were sitting here today, right, we could say, okay, we have risk reward to the upside off the demand lows or off the supply highs. Right now, we're sitting right in the center of this 4-hour channel that's been sitting here for almost 2 months, right? Difficult there. And I'm assuming the market stays like this until CPI, right? Until CPI maybe makes a decision for us. That's my assumption as of now. If we break this down a little bit short term, where there are some shorter term levels you can watch on the intraday to get maybe a little bit more detailed of a view, maybe some scalping opportunities. So I'll go ahead and draw those out for you right here. But I want to make sure that it's clear to you that overall, the 4-hour chart reads a very clear and very sideways channel that you need to be aware of. So the first level that I would be watching in a little bit of a shorter term here is this 18,380, 18,400. You can move it up to 400 if you want to be safe. That's what I had. I had the 400. So that's possibly where I would keep it if I was you as well. So why 18,400? Well, let's go ahead and look at this 1-hour chart and read what happens at 18,400. You can see right here, we have 18,400 highs right here, right? We have 18,400 lows right here. We have 18,400 lows right here. We have 18,400 lows right here. After breaking 18,400, we came back up into it, had a little bit of a hold above here, and then we had that upside back above 18.4. We broke back below 18.4. We came back into 18.4 on Friday, and we rejected 18.4 on Friday. So there are many, right, reactions at this 18.4. And what else is at 18.4? We can see that it's that daily 20 SMA, right? So this is going to be a tough level to be too aggressively long into, right? Because we've seen the previous reactions at this 18.4 level, right? We know that there is reactions at this 18.4 when we come up into it. So today, a little bit cautious up into that 18.4, up into that daily 20, right? Just be a little bit cautious if you're scalping. Beware that it could have a little bit of a reaction near this level today on the NASDAQ. If we get above 18.4, that's where I'd be a little bit more interested for that upside move, possibly up towards these supply highs. If we can hold above that 18.4 and we can hold above that daily 20 SMA. Very interesting there, right? All right, we're going to get Bobby Axelrod out of here. Just annoying, man. I made a statement as a joke, okay? It's a joke, guys. It was a joke. I said I'll shut down the stream as a joke. Of course, the market can go wherever. The market could go up 20% today. To think that I say these things with these types of comments, I'm not even going to get into it. What a waste of my time. All right, so 18.4, 18.4, 18.4, 18.4, and 18.4. So I'm not going to put you guys through that. Just a waste of everyone's time here. So let's move on. So 18.4, very much important level today, right? And that daily 20 SMA, very big. Now, here's the problem, okay? I am not saying you should be looking to play shorts off 18.4, right? I'm not looking to play, a major shorts off 18.4. Now, here's why. Because there's so much of this back and forth sort of demand below. And on top of that, there is a very key level here. It's around 230, 250, all in there, right? This is the FOMC lows, okay? This is the low that we had before FOMC, right? And it is also the 50 SMA, right? So you can see right here, right? Previous FOMC lows, 18,230. This low from Tuesday of last week, 18,230. This low from Wednesday of last week, 18,230. And this low that sort of formed Friday afternoon, 18,230. This is also the 50 SMA. So what are you doing right now in the market, right? You can now see this big picture, right? Just from drawing out these levels, getting an idea of what we're looking at, we can now get a good read on the market. What is it doing? It is channeling sideways between two very important short-term levels here, 18.4, 20 SMA, and 18,230, and that 50 SMA below. And this is where the market is channeling today. This is most likely the channel that you are going to want to get out of for real continuation moves, right? Or you're going to see a bunch of this today, right? A bunch of this and a bunch of back and forth within this channel. You are going to want to get outside of this range today for continuation moves, either above 400, right, or below that 230, that 210, 50 SMA, right? That is where you're going to want to get out of if you are looking for continuation, all right? So very clear there. Now, if you want to do some predictions here, right, if we want to be a little Nostradamus a little bit this morning, I am not opposed to looking at this little flag type action here off this demand down here. Is this going to create a little bit of a squeeze here? That looks sort of nice, right? That looks like a possible outcome here, right? A little bit of a pullback off the 20, a nice hold of that 50, a nice hold of this previous demand here, here, and here. And do we get a little bit of a squeeze action outside of this, right, today? That looks like a possible outcome, I'd say, right? But what's the problem with that idea? That we just need to be cautious of as traders. If we do look for that idea today, we could see this, right? And then we could see the slam right back off the 20, okay? So that's the problem when you trade in these channels. You need to make sure that you have proper expectations. If you do look for that long today off the 50, off this 250, 230 area, you need to still be careful of what could happen up here, right? You still need to be careful of that little reversal move back off the 18.4, right? Still very possible, okay? Clear levels here, I believe, and hopefully this helps you sort of read the NASDAQ a little bit better there. QQQ is pretty much the exact same thing, right? You can see, look at how this is setting up. Pretty much identical this morning, just off different levels. So you can see number one is that 440. That's our little hold level on the NASDAQ right here. That's our 18,230 in that 50 SMA. That right there is QQQ 440. You can see that's looking very nice this morning, holding nicely. Under that, it's our 438. What is our 438 level on the Qs? That's that FOMC low, right here. FOMC low. That is that's 438. You can see we held it here. You can see we held it here. And you can see we have reclaimed it on Friday. And that reclaim on Friday was very important, right? Look at this on Friday. Look how important that 438 reclaim was on Friday, the last day of last week. Look at this. 438 rejections in the pre-market. See this right here? See this 438 hold intraday on Friday? That led to that upside move, which was very nice. So that 438, big level down below, and I would be a little bit careful on the short side into that level, that's for sure. Let me zoom back in here. We could see 438, big demand below. We can now see that 440 holding up nicely. The only level we need to be cautious of here, in my opinion, is this 443. 443 is that Friday rejection, and it's some of these lows from the prior weeks. So what are we in today on the Qs? We're right here. We're in a 3-point range, okay? If we can hold, right, if you want to try to set up longs off 440, you might be able to catch a little 3-point long into that 443, but then just be aware of 443, okay? Just be aware of that. If we get above 443, that would be where I'd look for that new long opportunity, all right? Back over 443, but then you need to be careful of the 447.50, right? So it's just very tight ranges, and this is why it's been a very much a scalper's market, right? Without a doubt. It's been without a doubt a scalper's market, and it's been difficult to play the swing trades as the market sort of goes up a few days, down a few days, back up, right? Swing trades right here did not work, okay? Swinging, holding anything, puts or calls in this area just did not work, right? Maybe you took calls here, you were up, bam, slammed. You took some puts maybe here, right? Back up, those are dead, right? So overall, I'd say the premiums on both sides last week was just craziness. There was really no consistency to the, to a longer term hold. Much a scalper's market. So today, you're looking for scalps 440 and 443. Okay, be careful in this zone. This is the zone you're trading in. And what makes it even more interesting is that 20 SMA is just slicing right in the middle of that zone this morning. All right, you can see this is your zone. This is your 3-point range. And the 20 is just slicing, just slicing right in the middle of it. So 440, 443, no shorts if we're above 440. Careful of longs at 443. Okay, Let's go to the ES. Very interesting level on the ES here. I think a very strong level on the ES, and actually, I would say a level that would make me sort of bullish here today. And that's 52.35 right here. 52.35 is what that is pre-FOMC, okay? 52.35, very clear pre-FOMC level that popped this market higher, right? Where did we hold Tuesday of last week? 52.35. Where did we hold on the pullback on Friday? 52.35. That is a very interesting level. 52.35. I like that level as sort of a potential short-term long entry demand level, right? I don't mind looking to see if I can catch something on the upside off this 52.35. I like how it has shown the ability to hold on, right? You fell below, you reclaimed it, you held it again, right? I like that 52.35 level. That is something that I would be watching today to see if there's any willingness to hold again. 52.35 on the ES. To the upside, 52.70, right? Right here, 52.70, 52.70, 52.70, and 52.70, and on Friday, 52.70. So where are you on the ES? 35-point range. 35-point range. You can either look to scalp the range, right? You can try to scalp the range if you want to trade that. Or you can look for the hold above 70 or the hold below 35, right? That's really all you're looking for today. You're either scalping the range, right, between 35 and 70, or you are looking for holds over 70, holds under 35. That's it, right? Those are really the only trades here. Clear rejections here, clear support here. You either trade the range or you look for the breaks above. 52.70, 52.35. On the SPY, that is right between, I would call it 517, even though 518 is a big level, but you can just call it 517 here. 517 and 521, right? Same exact range. Now, the thing that's very interesting on the SPY today, which we know is a level not to mess with, okay? We do not mess with this level. It's the daily 20 on the SPY. Daily 20 on the SPY, daily 20 on the SPY, daily 20 on the SPY. And where are we holding right above today on the SPY? You can see right here on the 30-minute chart, you are holding right above that daily 20 again. So, a very clear reason not to short this market into 517 and into the daily 20. Clear as it can possibly get for us, right? If there's one thing we do today to protect ourselves, if there's one thing we do today to not lose, I believe it is do not short into this level right here. Do not short into the daily 20. Do not short into 517. That has been a very apparent thing on the SPY. Anytime you short coming into that daily 20, coming into it, you've lost pretty much every time, besides, obviously, this very aggressive and very heavy volume sell-off that we had on Thursday. Now, of course, if we start seeing a heavy volume sell-off today, then I can't say with much confidence that this is going to hold. But if it's sort of that just sort of grinder type day, I'm going to assume that the battles continue to step in at that 20 SMA. Okay? So 517 and that 20, that would be a level I'd be careful of being short into. If we get under it today, right, and we do hold below it, then sure, maybe there is some action to be taken. But that for now is how I'm going to protect myself today. If I see that SPY above that daily 20, I am going to not, right, get too interested in getting into large short positions. Okay? That's sort of my guideline for the day. All right. Let's go to the RTY. RTY is holding, looks like a nice demand here. Yep, RTY is holding that 2070 level we talked about. You can see down here, 2070. Right here, 2070, 2070. Very nice. You can see right there, 2070. Very nice. All right. So keep an eye on that 2070. I'd be careful on the short side into that level. It looks like to the upside, it's just that daily 20. It looks like the Russell is the same thing, just stuck between the 20 and the 50 right now. 20, 50. But if you want to look long, right, maybe you look for that long off that 2070 today. Look to see if you get a pullback towards that 2070. See if that level holds on again. Could be possible. Dow Jones, beautiful break and retest short last week, but where did it hold? It held right at our 38.9. Wow. That's a perfect hold on the Dow. Perfect hold on the Dow. Look at that. Perfect demand level hold. Right here, 38.9, 38.9, 38.9, 38.9, and again, 38.9. Look at how these levels leveled on Friday. So today, on the Dow, what you're watching is how the Dow does at the previous lows now. This is interesting right here. See this? See how this rejected the previous lows? Now that's very interesting there. You can see right here, previous lows, previous lows. Look at this rejection on Friday. So the Dow is now in this range, right? Between 39,370, okay, and that 38.9. That is now your range on the Dow. Could you see rejections here? Very possible. Could you see a little pop in rejection at the 50 and at that previous low? Very possible. Very possible short entry on the Dow there off that 39,370, right? That's very clear. If you get back above that, right, then that's probably a place you could reclaim and push back into this channel. Reclaim these lows, hold above this previous high, get above these lows, and that could be your next long entry there. Okay? Very clear levels on the Dow. Actually, probably the cleanest futures contract to trade right now. This is much cleaner than what we're seeing on the ESNQ. This is very nice structure, right? Previous lows, previous low, turning into highs, previous low, hit new high, turning into highs, right? Look at how nice the Dow is structuring. You can see you have your sort of channel here, turning into a channel here, and now we're in this one here, right? 3 structure, 1, 2, and 3. Very nice there on the Dow. I wish this is what the ESNQ looked like. All right. That's it for the futures. If you guys got something out of that, please press that like button for me. We got 2,100 people here, 700 likes. All I ask is for you to press the like button if you come here for free every day. Man, this shirt's getting small on me. I think I'm going to the gym too much. All right. Mike Jones. Daniel Jones. John Paul Jones. All right. Let's get into some stonks. Tesla shit show. Pig with makeup right now. This is what I call Tesla. It's a pig with makeup. It's under a lot of pressure. It's just a difficult trade right now, guys. I think if you're going to, Tesla right now is all about just larger idea. Just, what do you think happens in a year from now? What do you think happens in 2 years from now? Because right now, it's just a difficult trade. You get, these little glimpses of upside, then it just gets sold into again. And so for me, man, I just can't get behind being long Tesla in the short term right now because it's just so under attack. It's clearly under attack. Something's, it's being heavily sold into. That's very clear, right? You got your big pop here on the robo-taxi news, sort of sold into this morning, back under some key levels. So it's just a difficult trade to sort of be every single morning, it's hard to be swinging it. Let me just put it that. It's very hard to be swing trading this. Every day looks different. And even just like the fact that this happened on Friday is pretty ridiculous in my eyes. Not Tesla's fault, not Elon's fault. Just the fact of how it's being, like, you guys saw, right? News article came out, whether it's true or not, which is already a ridiculous fact, that a news article that supposedly isn't correct can come out and affect the market. Friday, you get that news, hey, Tesla's stopping the Model 2, right? Huge drop. Elon comes out, says it's not true. Huge pop, right? And so that's already just ridiculous that you have to withstand this type of movement on the intraday on Tesla as it is because of that. Like, I don't enjoy that could happen in the market. I think that's sort of BS. It's very, like, people could have lost a shitload of money, right? Because of a Reuters news article and then an Elon tweet, right? So basically on Friday, you dealt with Reuters news article, Elon tweet. That's what you had to deal with, which is just not possible to read correctly, okay? So that's why I'd come in very careful, guys, trading Tesla. Please be careful of it. It is really not moving with the market as much as you'd like. It's really just doing its own thing. Every day, random spikes, right? So you had Reuters news, Elon tweet, robo-taxi after hours, and now it's selling back off. The reason I'm saying all this, guys, is I just want you to be careful, okay? I do not think Tesla is something you should be trading right now. I have very rarely traded Tesla for the last few months, maybe once a week at most. So please be careful here. It's being very much, I don't like to use this word, right? Because I think this word is a scapegoat for like people losing money. You could call it somewhat of a manipulation type move. It's not being manipulated by someone in terms of it being manipulated for a bad cause, but it's absolutely being controlled by more than just the Tesla price action, okay? There's definitely some major selling. There's definitely a lot of news, a lot of headline risk. There's a lot of anticipation, right? And so it's just being sort of whipsawed, and I would be very careful being involved in it. So 171, very clear supply. We can see that. I think the 167.50, 168 is a big level here. Here's why. I'm sort of seeing, in my eyes, a little bit of a inverse head and shoulder here, a head and shoulder formation here on Tesla. And if this does play out, I think you could see more downside here. First of all, if we zoom out, you definitely can see that Tesla is nowhere near reclaiming a previous low, right? That's number one, okay? Number one is you can see this low, these highs, right? So that's number one. Number one is that we are clearly holding below a previous low. That number one is bearish, right? This is on the 4-hour chart, this is a bearish technical analysis right here. That is bearish, okay? The fact that you are under a previous channel low, right? You can see this, right? We talk about this all the time. Channel 1, channel 2. Channel 2, the channel 2 highs were channel 1 lows, okay? And that's bearish. As long as Tesla stays under the channel 1 lows, which is around that 180 level, that remains bearish, and the pressure remains on the downside, okay? Now, in the 4-hour, we can also see, right? You see this little head and shoulder that's setting up here? If this does play out, I would assume that you come back down to that 160, 155 area again. If we go out to the 1-hour chart, you can see right here, we have these very major supply highs at 180. We can see we're getting stuck under the daily 20 now. And in my eyes, this next move sort of looks like a move back to this demand low, right? You can see 160.5, this 160.5 stepped in again, and I'm sort of thinking this just sort of maybe goes back and retests this low here, 160, 160.5. That's my sort of idea here with this head and shoulder formation that I think is potentially setting up here, possibly back down to that 160 area. Now, you do have some demand here at 164 you need to be careful of, right? All from last week. You can see right here, 164, 164, 164. So for now, I'm going to be honest with you guys. The read is difficult. The read is very difficult. 164 looks to be a demand. 160 is definitely a demand. If you want to try to trade Tesla, I would continue to look for exuberant pops and then see where you can fade it. That's usually the best trade on Tesla. The best trade on Tesla has been fade big pops, right? It continues to be, it has been, and that's what I would continue to look for. So if you get a big pop today, up into some of these supply levels, maybe up into this 20 SMA, up into this previous day high, I would be looking for those fades, right? That's about it. That's about the only thing I look for. How I've been trading Tesla is I'll take a peek into Tesla, right? I'm going through my tickers intraday. I'll take a peek at Tesla. If it's up a lot and it's hitting supply, I'll get interested. That's about it, right? If Tesla's down into demand, right? If Tesla's dropping and I didn't catch it, I'm not interested because I know that you can get that move, right? I know you can get this, right? That. And you do not want to be a part of those. But if I see Tesla up and it's starting to approach some previous highs, I'll be all right, let's see if there's a fade here, right? Because that's the likelihood of what could happen. So that's a long-winded example there on Tesla, guys, but that's sort of my mindset. Hopefully that makes sense to you. Let's move on. 1 hour chart on Nvidia. Nice little pop. And where is Nvidia coming off of, right? Is this the juicy long, right? Is this the juicy long? Is this a little something here, right? Are we getting a little something on Nvidia here, right? Off that 850 level. Is this where you're going to want to be long down in this area? Very possible, okay? Very possible. I am not saying that is not a possibility. 850, and look at the hold at 850. I think you probably need a double bottom, to be honest, guys. I don't think it's just a drop and then recover to fame type move. I would like to see maybe Nvidia come down one more time and then see if it works, right? Get that sort of everyone that took these longs, and if they start seeing it come back, they start getting scared out of it. And then if we start seeing that double bottom form, right, something like this, that is where I'd like to strike if we get something like that. For now, we're not getting that. Right now, Nvidia is pretty strong off this 850 level. I would look to see what happens at 892, okay? I think 892 is key. 892, 892, 892, 892, 892, and 892. And after we broke 892 on Thursday, you saw the floodgates open, okay? The floodgates opened under 892 on Thursday of last week. You are trading back into 892. This could be, okay? This could be one of these moves. And that could be the move that gets us that double bottom low down at the demand, right? This could be that, right? So be careful at the 892 today. Be careful at these previous lows and where that floodgate opened on Thursday. It's right at 892. So you need to get above this. I would want to be above this for longs, right? Now, if Nvidia was down here today, right, that's a different story, right? Because then you have risk reward, right? If you're down here on Nvidia today, if we're opening up down here, I'd say, guys, we got to look for longs today, right? There's no doubt about it. Risk reward is without a doubt on the long side. We got to look for longs off this level. But the problem is we're sort of up already, right? We've already got off that level. So be careful at the 892. That would be number one. Above that, you got the daily 20 at 900. That would be number two. And number three would be that high from Thursday at 905. If you can clear this whole zone right here, right? If you can clear this zone on some upside, right? And you can get above that 905, that is where it could get interesting for that really confident, upside move again on Nvidia. I would just be careful longing through this area. This is definitely heavy in here, right? This is some heavy stuff. So be careful as you approach this zone. This zone could get heavy up here between 890 and 905. You also have the daily 20 right there. This is going to get heavy. It's going to get heavy in here. So be careful in this zone. All right? AMD. What a beautiful rejection on AMD of previous lows. I mean, it really doesn't get much cleaner than this for now. For now, of course. You can see right here, 173, previous lows. Look at that right there. 173 lows into 173 highs. Very clear rejection on AMD here, and a very clear level to be careful of longing into. 173, 175. Two very clear possible rejection levels that you need to be careful on AMD. TSM had some news this morning from for government subsidiaries. How the fuck do you say that? Where's the word? Subsidy. There it is. Subsidy. Yeah, so TSM, we're going to look at this in a second because this is important. This is a pretty big news for TSM, I believe. Is this hurting AMD? I think it is. I think this is hurting AMD this morning. You can see right here, 173. And on top of this, we know that AMD's been a very under pressure name as of late. I don't want to count this play out because, markets could flip on the flip of a dime, right? I don't want to count out AMD under 160, okay? I definitely don't want to count that out. This is very intriguing, right? If this is like a major sort of topping on AMD, right? Look at this. Is that a major top on AMD? And if it is, I definitely want to be a part of a drop under 160, okay? I want to make sure I'm not blindsided to this drop if it does occur. I'm not saying it will, because this 160 is a beast of a level to be dealing with, right? We can definitely see that is a major level. But man, if this thing starts slipping under that 160 and this thing starts getting under that 100 SMA, I think it's going to get pretty aggressive and definitely something to be looking to short. So very interesting. Here's the weekly chart on AMD. The previous weekly highs are 164.46. Okay, 164.46 was the previous major highs on AMD. Weekly chart, previous all-time high, 164.46. Okay, if we get under that level, that 164.46, that 165, there is some interest here of downside. Okay, so we definitely have seen AMD underperform. I would be careful before you get too aggressive in this idea of this 165, right? That's definitely a hold level. So I would not be going all in short into that level. That's number one. Let's make that very clear. You also have 160 below and that 100 SMA to be careful of. I think you're going to want under 160, under the 100 SMA before you get that sort of large picture idea of the shorts under this level. So I'm going to keep my eyes on it. I'm not going to do anything yet. I'm going to hawk it, right? That's what I like to do when I like a setup. Keep it on watch. Keep, sort of monitor it. Don't get too crazy in it yet. See what happens if we come back down to that 165. That's going to be something I very closely watch. MU, nice pop this morning. We nailed this MU short. If you guys were in the live stream, whoever this was in the live stream, I forgot your name. But someone in the live stream on Friday said, hey, look at MU off this rejection. And, man, you made me about $7,000 on Friday. So thank you so much for that. Hopefully you caught it yourself. This was a beautiful setup Friday, pretty much right out of open. We had a bear flag into the previous highs, into the previous lows, and just a beautiful rejection on MU on Friday. We took profits at our demand, as we always should. Right? We have our demand down here at 121. And you can see that demand has held this thing higher. Today, MU, which is very strong here, is over the 126 level. I would look for MU to pull back and hold 126 today. If you can pull back and hold 126, this is very interesting. Watch 126 on MU today. Okay, TSM, probably something that I might be throwing money into TSM and forgetting about it. I have been buying shares of TSM, just to let you guys know. I've put this into my long-term portfolio. I'll pull it up really quickly. I have added TSM to my long-term. I think it's been long overdue for me to own TSM. TSM is the semiconductor sector. Not in terms of growth. Obviously, Nvidia has been crazy, but TSM makes them, right? TSM is necessary. It's a core semiconductor stock. It is necessary for a lot, right? For almost everything. So I've started to long TSM here. You guys can see right here. I've added like 50 shares of TSM at an average of 141. That's sort of where I'm at. I'm just starting to get involved, right? I'm starting to get involved in my in TSM. Today, what's it looking to buy today? Buying more toast today? Okay, we'll see. I've been buying some toast as well, guys, just to let you know. Toast and TSM are my new additions to the long term. So, toast, TSM, two things I'll be watching. Obviously, you can see Tesla. What a shit show that is. This is very interesting. And you got earnings coming up here in middle of April. This is a nice-looking trend that TSM has been on. I like this consolidation a lot. All right, this is a very nice consolidation on TSM. You got your big pop. You got your pullback back to this previous 134. You've been maintaining this thing like a beast, right? And this could be sort of that breakout move that I would be watching today. If TSM holds over 143 today, right, then I would be absolutely looking for that push into 147. If you get over 147, this thing is probably ready to go, okay? So 143, 147, those are the two levels on TSM. I love sort of this just maintain that it's been holding in this. All right, this is sort of that consolidation and sort of just a area where buying has stepped up, right? We've just been buying in this zone. And eventually, I would say that this leads to that upside move, okay? That's what I'm watching. I'd like to see it stay over 143, though. ARM. I really don't got much for you here on ARM, guys. Something I'd sort of retire. SMCI, 950. 950 continues to be the level on SMCI. You can see right here. That 950 continues to hold. As long as you're over 950, I'd say this thing has some strength to it. All right, let's continue. Meta, what a beast of a move last week. You sort of got to look at Meta short term here. You got a very clear 530 high. I would just look for Meta over 530 today. That's pretty clear setup, right? If you see Meta hold over 530 today, I don't really see why that wouldn't continue. So watch that 530 level. Look for that break and retest above 530. If you get a pullback off 530, look for longs off 523. 523 holds on Friday. If you can get a pullback on Meta, this would be a great long spot right here, 523. Under 523, you're going to move back to 515. So 515, 523, 530, I would look for break and holds on either levels, right? Break and hold above 530, pull back to 523, right? Those are the two things I'd watch. Let's go to Google. Google is holding back above that 153 level. This is very interesting, right? Look what Google's doing here, guys. Something to be aware of. Google is holding back above 153. That's very key. So today, I would watch Google over 153. That's a key level there. Amazon, yep, Amazon's pushing into all-time highs. So up to you, right? Go with whatever you want to do here. I personally would not long right into all-time highs, but you can keep an eye on it, right? You can see right here. 188.65, previous all-time highs on Amazon, and you are sitting right at it, okay? So that's really all I got for you. I don't have much for you here on Amazon. All I can tell you is, hey, if you're going to trade Amazon today, you better be aware that all-time highs are 188.65. That's about it. Let's go to Microsoft real quick. Microsoft is just channeling, so you guys know what to do here. You either trade the channel or you wait for the breakout, okay? You either trade the channel or you wait for the breakout. You either trade the channel, right? Or you wait for the break of either side. One of the two. So watch out for 429, maybe 430-ish, and then watch out for that 420, right? You can probably just put it, you could go 430. Depends on how safe you want to be. You can go 430, right? You can see 430 up here. I'd say watch 430. I'd watch 420, okay? 10-point range on Microsoft. Let's go to Coinbase. Coinbase, nice demand hold. That 240 level is rock solid. You can see right here. Crypto's up strong this morning. All I would watch for today, guys, is 260. You need Coinbase over 260, okay? You got 260, you got 270 in your way. That's about it. So be aware of that. So today, be careful into this. This is definitely a clear level, right? We definitely can see that. We can see that sort of rejection there. So 260, right? Be careful there. And then 270. If you can hold over 260, I'd say there's more upside into the 270. But, right, what's the problem with Coinbase today? What's something you need to be aware of, right? This is a gap up, okay? Gap and goes are very difficult to trust. Gaps and goes are very difficult to trust. What do you like to see on a gap up? You like to see it fill the gap, right? Fill the gap and then look for that long. So careful on the gap up on Coinbase, guys. Be very cautious here. Gap up right into this 260 supply is sort of a recipe for a little bit of a pullback in my eyes. You need to really be confident over 260 to be looking for a long on this gap up. Let's go to... We did Amazon, we did Google, we did Microsoft, we did Meta, we did Tesla, Nvidia, MU, TSM, SMCI, Coinbase. think that's about it, guys. I mean, Netflix has been okay. We can go to Boeing. Boeing's just a beautiful fade. I mean, that's really all it is. We talked about this thing when it was up here. Probably should have traded this one myself, man. What an absolutely gorgeous fade. Lows, 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 break, retest, rejection. I mean, it just doesn't quite get better than that. That is the definition right there. So, beautiful fake, beautiful drop, right? Beautiful pop back into that previous low. Beautiful rejections up at that 198, and just a slide since then. In my eyes, Boeing's probably going to retest that 176, but the risk reward to the downside is over. Okay? It's over. The risk reward for downside was up here. This is where you needed to short, up in this zone for downside into the demand lows. I would now be very cautious shorting into demand lows at 176. We can go to Apple. Even though Apple, guys, I don't even know why any of you guys are watching Apple. I mean, this is disgusting stuff, guys. This has been almost a month, okay? Apple has been trading almost a month within a 2-point range, okay? Stop trading Apple. Stop it. It's a waste of your time. This is not trading correctly. This is being held down by something, okay? Do not trade Apple. Wait for something to happen here. All right, guys. That's all I got. Let's go to the NASDAQ. Very nice hold on the NASDAQ. We talked about that little potential flag action. Starting to look pretty proper there. We definitely have demand below right here. That 18,230, that 50 SMA looks pretty strong today. If you can get a hold above that 18.4 today, guys, I'd say that's a pretty good reason to look for upside. Right? That would be a very nice move today. If we can get above these levels today, I think you actually could see some action today. Right? If you can look at this little flag. This is beautiful, actually. Right? Look how nice this is. If you can actually get a move above 52.70 today, I think there is a actual trade today to be looking for. 52.70 and that 18.4, man, if we can get this, I'll be excited. I'll be excited to look for some action today. Let's watch that. Let's see if we can get above that 20. Above that 18.4, and let's see if we can get over this 52.70. If we can, let's look for that action. All right, guys, that looks good. Let's keep an eye on that potential setup here into the open. Press that like button if you guys could. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. We come here every single day starting at 8 a.m. We have some fun. We look at some technicals. We kick some idiots out of the live chat, right? It's all good. Today we had a little bit of everything. We had a few idiots. We had some good talks. We had some good technicals. It's about all you can ask for, I guess, right? Go Rangers. Hopium. There's another idiot. It's not hopium. It's a technical setup, okay? Guys, I'm not an idiot, okay? You don't need to come at me with idiotic comments. Trust me, I know how to trade. Let's keep it professional. Let's keep it on it. Like, it's just a waste. God, people, man. Press that like button. Subscribe to the channel. And I will see you guys on Tuesday. Hopium.